Hey everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode. Today we're exploring some truly transformative ideas at the intersection of AI and the workforce with the incredible Jeff J. Hunter. Jeff is the creator of the AI persona method, a unique approach to how you can leverage AI regardless of your role or industry. Today, Jeff and I discuss how AI is not just a tool for efficiency, but also a game changer for job security. He'll share how AI is your ticket to becoming an indispensable part of any organization. Plus, we'll get into the nuts and bolts of how businesses can train their teams to harness the power of AI effectively, boosting productivity without losing the human touch. So, whether you're a CEO looking to innovate, an HR professional seeking to expand your team's capabilities, or just a tech enthusiast curious about the future of work, this episode is packed with insights you don't want to miss. Let's get started. Welcome to Using AI at Work. I'm your host, Chris Daigle. Each week, we'll be learning how today's business owners, entrepreneurs, and ambitious professionals are getting more done with smart use of tomorrow's tech. Let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to have Jeff J. Hunter of the AI persona method as our guest today. So Jeff, there you go. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Whoa. Well, first off, I have been in IT my entire life. So I feel like I'm living my dream. Like right now, I feel like I'm so excited because, I gave all the IT stuff up a long time ago to become a marketer back in like 2016. And I started marketing in like 2014, but I left my corporate job as an IT project manager to do marketing full time and created my own company of virtual assistants based in the Philippines. And I'm all about leverage. I'm all about just figuring out how to get stuff done. And with AI, that just adds a whole different level of getting stuff done in the toolbox that, is way more effective than humans. But before I sound like the bad guy, all right, I just want to throw out there that the best way to use AI is to train a human to use AI for you.
Can we talk about that? Because that's probably what a lot of the bosses or team leads out there are like, can I just get somebody to do this for me?
Business Insider posted an article pretty recently saying that 90% of employers were looking for somebody who actually knows how to use AI on their resume. Over 90%.
Yeah.
I want to throw out another number for you, which is the U.S. Census in 2023, not that far ago, posted that only 3.6% of businesses in America are using AI. This is where that disparity gap comes in between the gap of businesses that utilize AI and know that it's valuable and important, and them desperately finding people that can use AI in the business. And that is a humongous opportunity to use AI at work. I don't know if you know about the laws of power.
Yes.
The 40, I think it's
sure.
48, right? Is it 48 laws of power? But law number 11 is that you always want to make sure that people depend on you, right? So
yes,
if you are the person in that company who knows how to use AI, that's an indispensable skill that people really rely on you for. It, to me right now, is probably the biggest opportunity of our lifetime as far as learning a new skill. And because it's so fresh and new, I mean, November 2022 is when ChatGPT came out. Like, you don't have to compete with someone with 10 years of experience because ain't nobody got more than 2 years.
Yep. We have identified that same gap, huge opportunity there. So how do you explain, is it that the census was completed and at that time there was 3.6% and now 90% of business job postings are looking for it? Is it just that businesses have woken up in the past 12 months and been like, oh, damn, we got to do something?
Well, I think it's because using it and seeing the need that you need to use it are very different, right? Most businesses still haven't quite figured out an applicable way. Like, how do we actually add AI in our business that generates revenue, increases production, increases efficiency, productivity, right, with your team members. So, they're really looking at people to come in and do that. Truth be told, last year is my first year as an AI consultant. I did over 100 AI consult calls with businesses all around the world, and I generated $282,000 in AI consulting my first year as an AI consultant.
Nice. What was we'll get into that for sure. There's going to be people that are interested in that. How did people find you?
Well, first off, I took advantage of what I just said earlier. I knew that there was no one out there with experience because it was brand new. And a funny story how I got into it. What if I told you it was desperation and fear?
I believe it.
So I was desperate and I was afraid because when November of 2022 came around and ChatGPT was released, and I own a virtual assistant company, human virtual assistants in the Philippines, I said, my first thought was, why would someone hire a human virtual assistant, even with the low cost of like $1,500 a month for the Philippines, when you can use ChatGPT for free? That was my first thought. So what ended up happening was I created a task force, an AI division in my company. And out of desperation, I flew to the Philippines with my leadership team. We even made the t-shirts that say VA Staffer AI Division. I brought in the minds of my company. There's people on the team, by the way, that I believe are smarter than me. I'm just the crazy. Yeah. I'm not the most qualified CEO of my company. I'm just the crazy guy that started it,
Yeah.
So what ended up happening was we just started figuring out, is AI going to replace us? How can we leverage AI as a tool, an advantage in the company, not to replace us? And that's when we made this kind of aha moment. We said, wait a second. There still has to be someone who understands what kind of result we want from AI and can operate it, right? There's now a huge, I guess you could say, opportunity for people to become operators and integrators to leverage technology. So we rebranded the entire company to an AI-powered human virtual assistant company. And now it's created so much demand that we actually don't even have any VAs available right now. So we just got done hiring 12 new virtual assistants that should be available in the next few weeks. They go through about a 30, 40-day training process. But it saved my company. So AI that I thought was dangerously going to exterminate my company has now actually become the biggest opportunity for our company. And then, of course,
five, AI.
Yeah, exactly. And then the coolest part is how I stumbled into the AI consulting, because that was your original question. How I stumbled into the AI consulting was when I started telling people how I was teaching my team how to implement AI. They said, could you come into my company and teach my team how to use AI? And I was like, well, as a matter of fact, I could.
I think that's a great point. If you just let the world know that you've got these skills and you do it over and over again, I mean, you had a little bit of a platform, you had a foundation of a business, but even for somebody just getting started, if you just start telling your people at work, oh yeah, I've been learning AI. Teach me, show me. Oh, what can you do? Right? People are going to challenge you. So that's pretty cool. Hey, so the VA output production.
Before we move on, you just said something very important, and I don't think most people probably caught that. I don't even think you thought it was that important because you moved on so fast. But this is now moving into a state of a show me economy. This is a show me economy where everybody can pretend to be an expert, especially with ChatGPT. I mean, God forbid, you can't trust a resume anymore because ChatGPT writes the perfect resume every time,
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I made a custom GPT that you copy and paste the job description, and it will write you a perfectly crafted resume and cover letter for any job that you put in there. Okay?
That's fun for the business owner.
Bye-bye HR people. Good luck.
Yeah. So I want to know, I've worked with VAs for 15, 20 years probably, right? Always had good value there. You can find some real winners, like you said, smarter than you. You can find some folks that just flake out on you. But for your team, what was the difference in their output, their ability to deliver, the quality of work, pre-introduction versus post-AI power?
This is what's beautiful. There's a lot of things I just never would have my Filipino virtual assistants do. One of them, social media posts, because American English is just different than Filipino English. One example is the words that we use compared to what they use. They use more formal words.
Sure.
And also they have a very hard time with plurality. So, for example, I was even on a call with my team earlier yesterday, and I said, what was the most important thing or most valuable thing that you learned? And one of the new hires was like, well, first off, I loved all of the learnings. In the Philippines, learnings is a completely good word. And technically, it's not exactly wrong. It's just a different type of English. In America, we would just never say learnings. We would say lessons or, things like that. But yeah, all the things that I've learned, right? Being able to, it's basically eliminated the language barrier. I actually wrote an article. I have a column at entrepreneur.com, and I write about virtual teams and AI. And my latest article on entrepreneur.com, I talk about how the language barrier has just been wiped out, because now, it doesn't matter if you come from a developing country or English is your second language, or even autism. I actually just got done sending a message to Michelle D, Miss Universe, just a few days ago, just talking about how we could even leverage AI to help people with learning disabilities and autism, to leverage AI to communicate. So, now you can basically create an AI that writes perfect English, and as long as you kind of give good instructions, it'll write really good. So, to answer your question, social media posts, my own virtual assistant, her name is Jackie. She's my executive assistant. She's now written 77 newsletters. She's never written a newsletter in her life.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? So there's just so many different things: social media posts, newsletters, marketing emails, all sorts of different things that they can do that they really couldn't do before, because you can train AI to do it and then just let them run it. That's how I train the businesses that hire me to come in and consult. Yeah. I'm actually the one creating these AI personas, we call them, and they're trained on how to do all these different things. And then all you need is an operator. They just come in and say, hey, can you write me an email about, marketing strategies for 2024? Sure, no problem. And then it's trained in my own voice. So it goes, boop, there it goes.
So it's an interesting distinction. I'm trying to get out of you like, well, it saved us 22%. But what you actually came back with was not how much time that it saved you, but now it opened up a whole different spectrum of opportunity for application of that VA. And that's a paradigm I hadn't really considered. I'm always looking for shaving time off of the race, right? Like, can we do it faster with AI? But this is a whole different, that's a great perspective.
Well, that's also another thing. So Jackie, my assistant, she used to go into my LinkedIn account and she would respond to comments and stuff that's on my content. I post a lot of content. And she used to take a couple hours a day writing comments to people, but now she goes in, she's using AI that's trained in my voice, and she basically copies in the comments they put on my stuff, and she uses my own AI voice to respond back to them and copy and paste instead of thinking about what should I say. So that's also, and then back to the conundrum that I shared with you earlier, it's also opened up the door because now she has additional time. I have people on my hit list, people that I want to work with, that I tell her, hey, when they post content, I want you to literally use AI to analyze what they wrote and write a smart, short content, a little bit of comment, which of course is also valuable content that their audience is also seeing me as well, more visibility. So I'm using it to really do three, the end goal, the dream, as you know, Chris, the dream is I'm using AI and VAs to fire myself.
Yeah.
Right. I'm using it to multiply myself by being able to be more omnipresent because of just how much time is reduced. And three, I'm using it to actually focus on growth. create new programs, create new products, do more market research. I'm really using it to develop the brand, which is very exciting for me because you know how it is. Especially, I have a 150 person team. It gets very costly. So if I can get one person just to do 50% more, that's incredible.
Yeah. It's really cool because you get the opportunity to see the leverage across a much larger team than the average, entrepreneur, small business, coach, consultant, whatever. Very cool. So this persona method that, as I mentioned before we got on the phone, that was probably the first, if not one of the first products that we bought to understand how other people were looking at AI. And that AI persona method has now been extremely popular. It's led to a very successful consulting career as an AI consultant, but also you've built a community of people who are now like leveraging this for their reward. Can you kind of talk about not just the persona method, but how it's impacted some of your students' lives?
Let's talk about the concept of what an AI persona is. It's funny. It kind of goes back to what I was telling you when I started the AI division of the company. I was having a really hard time how to educate my team how to use AI. And there's so many large language models and, algorithms and, all these different things you got to learn and the logic. And it's so overwhelming. And there's like a new AI tool every minute that comes out. Yeah. And I was thinking, well, how could we just make something that would be easy to roll out as fast as possible? And this is where I think being a marketer, I had an advantage. I was able to go a few levels up and just say, okay, generally, what is AI? And you know what? It went back to my childhood show, my favorite, by the way, Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Data.
All right. I'm dating myself a little bit here, Chris, but my favorite character was Data. And Data was this android who had all of the universe's mysteries inside of him. He had this mega computer that could think of everything and stored all this data, but he didn't really know how to use it. And he really struggled with his own emotional and, just in general, let's be honest, like he didn't know how to communicate effectively because he knows everything, but he still doesn't have that human element. He's missing that human touch.
Yeah.
So in my mind, I said, that's interesting because that kind of sounds like ChatGPT, right? Like it knows everything, but it still doesn't know how to say it. So what I did was I taught this idea of an AI persona is an AI employee. Like think of it as creating your own person that you would love to hire in your business. You want to hire an email marketer, you want to hire a social media content writer or a strategist or maybe an SEO specialist or maybe a sales page writer, or maybe you want someone to help with customer service inquiries, or the one that I love that my own HR person in my company uses, she made her own HR manager that literally whenever there's problems with clients and internal things, like she's like, here's what the situation is. What should I do? What should I say? And, because nobody likes doing that stuff. That was a very easy concept for people to get. Like, how can I create my own AI employees? And that's what I rolled out with the AI persona method is how to create your own human-like AI employees, which we call AI personas. So that's how that started. And it kind of steamrolled and picked up speed and, going through the trademarking process because I realized how valuable the AI persona actually is from that concept. Yeah. And, what ended up happening was it was just so easy for people to do. I don't know if people can see this, so maybe I'll do a combo between reading it and showing it. But I have, and I know you're part of this, but I have my AI persona group right here. Yep. We have about 300 paid members in here. We just crossed it, 303 as of today. If you're listening to this, it's probably going to be higher. But what was really interesting was every Friday I make a post and I say, hey, what's your weekly wins? right? Like, how are you using AI in your business? And it's mind-boggling. There's 12 comments on here, and I think, and I'm not trying to brag, but I really believe that you can see the value in what you create by the success that your people have, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Another reason why I like to post, hey, what's your wins? It pats my ego a little bit. It's like, okay, you guys are using AI. I taught you how to do it. That's kind of cool,
Very cool.
But here's just a couple things that people say. I'm going to go ahead and read some of these, but so Luke says, I set up an AI qualifying bot. So now it's qualifying and trying to book more mortgage leads that we generate into appointments. It's actually doing better than most of our loan officers. LOL, he says. Here's Colton Havens. He says, I got sales from an email I made this week.
Nice.
This person says, I held an in-person workshop for a client collecting the team's insights on Post-it notes, the rose, thorn, bud workshop method, and then I put the data into a spreadsheet and had ChatGPT create a summary and strategy for each department on how to improve their business. I barely had to edit it. They loved it.
Yep. Nice.
Here's somebody who says, I created a slide deck and a script for a presentation this morning at 2:30 a.m. last minute before a talk done by Claude and Canva. That one got 7 likes on that. And it's just like, there's just a whole list of wins on here. There's 12 comments of people that have wins.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
The point
Very
is,
cool.
There's just so many different ways. And did you notice every single one of those is totally different, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's the joy. The beauty of AI right now is that it is whatever you want it to be.
So are you finding that in the running of your business, I know you've got the employees and you've got the AI-powered training for them and that sort of thing, but what are maybe some AI-powered automations or introductions that you're particularly like, I'm glad we did that. It had a big impact on me personally as an owner, as a human.
Probably for me, my favorite is just, I have so many ideas about things that I've wanted to create that I just never created. So the ability for me to create an AI persona of like a copywriter, right? And then it, like for me, social media posts is a really, I spend a lot of time. I actually, this because you've been in my network for a while. I post usually 2 to 3 times a day on social media, and they're not fluff. Like they're usually really thought out, long form social media. So for me, being able to create a long form social media copywriter trained with over 100 of my most viral social media posts of all time, and for me to be able to pull it up and literally just like have it write something. You know what? We should do that on here. We should actually use Claude and show people how powerful it is. Is that something that we can do? Is that cool?
Yeah, man. Share your screen, buddy.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to do it then. All right. Because I think that's one of the things that I've loved most about this is, like I told you earlier, it's a show me economy, right? And because we live in this like show me world, what's been really fun about it is that like it's never been easier to show. It's literally AI. So here we go. We're going to go into my most viral data set. I'll zoom in for people. All right. Okay. This chat is so long that it's telling me that I should start a new chat, but we're not. We're going to hit continue. All right. Watch this. Can you see the screen okay, by the way, Chris? You good? Okay. So for those of you who are just listening on the podcast, I highly recommend, obviously, that you tune in to Chris's podcast. This is, using AI at work. I want to make sure you guys are able to see this because I'm a visual learner. Most people are visual learners, but I will read this out loud for those of you that are listening in. I'm just going to show you how dialed in I have this AI copywriter. All I'm going to do is say, write, if I can spell it correctly, write a viral post about how I shared my insights on a podcast today called Using AI at Work with Chris Daigle. All right. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. that was battle number 1. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say I shared how you can create job security and become indispensable in the workplace. I probably spelled that wrong. Okay. Now watch this, guys. Okay. Watch this. I didn't tell it how to write it. I didn't give it a bunch of different factoids and things like that. All I did was ask it to write a post like me in my own viral format about how I showed up on a podcast with Chris using AI at work, and then how I shared that you can create job security and become indispensable in the workplace. This is how good AI can truly be if you dial it in. And this is all the stuff that is in the program. Like I'm not here to sell this. I'm just telling you that most people, if they don't see it, they wouldn't believe how good AI is. Most of the time, Chris, when I show people this, they say, wow, I didn't even know AI could write that good.
Let me ask, was it prompt that you trained, or have you created custom GPTs?
This is an AI persona in Claude that I've trained to write like me. Let's see how it did. It says, unlock the secret to becoming indispensable, where that's just the title. So it really starts right here. I've got news for you, okay? It really starts right here. I've got news for you. The world of work is changing rapidly, relentlessly. And if you're not adapting, you're falling behind. But here's the good news. You have the power to not just survive this change, but to thrive in it, to become the linchpin of your organization, the go-to person that everyone relies on. And today I shared exactly how on the Using It AI at Work podcast with Chris Daigle. It all comes down to two words: artificial intelligence. Now, I know what you're thinking. AI, isn't that the thing that's supposed to take our jobs? And I get it. The headlines are scary, predictions dire. But here's the truth. AI isn't here to replace you. It's here to empower you, to augment your skills, amplify your impact, and make you invaluable. The key? Learning to work with AI, not against it. Harnessing its power to automate the tedious, to streamline the complex, to free you up to focus on what really matters. Strategic thinking, creative problem solving, the human touch that no machine can replicate. And that's where your values lie. That's what will make you indispensable. On the podcast, I shared real-world examples, case studies of people who are using AI to revolutionize their roles, to deliver results that seemed impossible before, to carve out a niche for themselves that no one else can fill, from the marketer who's using AI to create content at scale, to the HR professional leveraging AI for personalized employee experiences, to the data analyst using AI to uncover game-changing insights. The opportunities are endless, and they're yours for the taking. But it starts with the mindset shift, a willingness to embrace the unknown, to be curious, to experiment, and to see AI not as a threat, but as your secret weapon, your competitive edge, your path to not just job security, but career supremacy. So if you're ready to future-proof your skills, to become the linchpin of your organization, to be the one person they simply can't afford to lose, start exploring AI. Start integrating it into your workflow. Start becoming indispensable. The future of work belongs to those who embrace it. Will you be one of them? Listen to the Using AI at Work podcast to learn how. And then let's rewrite the rules of the game together.
That does not have a synthetic vibe to it at all. That's very human-like.
And mind you, there is absolutely no way an AI detector is going to think that's AI.
No, I've seen copy and writing styles, and that looks like somebody who knows copywriting and knows how to keep a reader engaged. And none of it sounded like, there was no delving, there was no in conclusion or anything like that. That's good. And that's a big challenge. I've asked a lot of guests on this podcast, how do you get it to sound like, because I'm working on that. How do I get a natural lift from the output like you just did? And it's not easy, but that was very high quality.
Thank you.
Persona.
If this is trained how to write like me, I'll take that as a compliment. That is my savage marketer AI copywriter right there. I actually call it the secret AI copywriter. That is, like for me, it's been a game changer because, you got to see it this way. Now, you being, formerly at one of the best AI or the best publishers ever, they're even the top copywriters in the world right now are diving into AI. And the crazy part is, there's a consensus. Of course, a lot of it's fed by egos of us copywriters that the AI can never be as good as us. But one thing I'll tell you, which is a little scary, my top 2 posts of 2023 were written by AI. Millions and millions of views were written by AI. Now, part of my ego says, well, if I would have wrote that post about that topic myself, it also would have went viral. But the truth is the AI did write it. So I would say that if somebody doesn't think that AI is good at writing, it's because they don't know how to get it to write as good as what I just showed you, or they're just in denial, or they have an ego.
So I have this conundrum. I do this podcast. Obviously, this is not avatars. This is you and I speaking in person. However, this episode will go through an AI-powered automation process that will turn it into a number of different content pieces that are platform-specific: video, audiograms, text, that sort of thing. I'm striving for authenticity. Like I give a damn. I want people, like, I don't, like, this matters, and I know how important this is to you as well. What do you say to people who's like, oh, well, still AI did that? It's not you. AI did that. What's the rebuttal to that? What's your position?
I guess the rebuttal is, if I've trained the AI with my own writing style, and it's my content, and I've been able to train the model to speak like me, to write like me, to think like me. Anyone who knows me and reads that says, dude, that's Jeff. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
that's what it looked like.
Think about all the things that you and I spoke about on this show before I asked AI to write it. We talked about the human touch. We talked about becoming indispensable. We talked about like everything that you and I had just spoken about. It was literally there. Why? Because it knows how I write. It knows how I think. It knows how I put my sentences together. So I guess I would say that we have a blurred line. One thing I will tell you, Chris, is that I do believe that in the world of AI, where everybody can pretend to be an expert, like I said earlier with those ChatGPT resumes, it's never been more important right now to be human in a world filled of automation. Okay? In a world filled of automation AI, it's never been more important to be human. Number 2, it is never more important to build a brand. You have to build a brand authority because there are going to be so many people pretending to be somebody, and with AI, they're able to do so. So building a brand authority, and by the way, building brand authority isn't enough. Not only do you have to build the brand authority, but you need to build the community around the brand authority. Because you may be an expert at what you do, but you're not an expert legitimately in the eyes of the world unless other experts say that. So you have to intentionally put yourself out there and really grow, work on speaking on the right stages, work on getting featured in the right content. And I know a lot of you guys that are listening in, you might be like, well, how does that do for my work? Your personal brand at work is so important, guys. Your personal brand at work is so important. Even being the guy or the girl who uses AI in her work is part of the brand. I have a 19-year-old girl who went through my program. You might even know she's the daughter of Bijal. He's a hilarious marketer. He owns a virtual assistant company as well. He lives in Las Vegas. He said, hey, you know what? He went through my program and said, you know what? I think my daughter would like to go through this program. She's 19. I'm like, dude, I'll give you a discount. Get your daughter in here. That'd be fun. Sure. He's like, well, we're debating if she wants to go to college or whatever else. Now I'm like, put her in the program, see what she thinks. Guess what? Not even 3 months after she went through the program, she landed 4 clients that she's doing AI consulting for, helping them do their writing. She's making $4,000 a month.
Yep.
You know what I did at 19 years old? I was wiping gym equipment for $6.75 an hour while I was trying to hit on chicks in college.
Yep. Yep. The equalizer.
That's it.
we're getting to the top of the hour here, and I don't want people to leave without finding out about your new newsletter, which I'm very excited about. Do you mind kind of telling everybody about that?
I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my screen
for it.
because I would, first off, thank you for that. First off, before I get into the newsletter, I just want to point out there, I want to reiterate what we said earlier about the AI disparity gap. There is an AI disparity gap right now that's massively growing between the businesses that need to adopt and adapt AI in their business and the amount of people that actually know how to make that happen. There's a massive opportunity. So I created a newsletter. We actually just released our 31st newsletter today.
Rats.
31st. Yes. I know, that's crazy. But we just put we do 5 newsletters a week. So we talk about the AI disparity gap. We talk about different tools that you need to learn, how to take advantage of it. We really want to prepare the next generation for what's coming, which is AI. So it doesn't matter if you're a 12-year-old, like 11-year-old son like me. My son's interested now. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
All the way up to a retiree, you're already done for the day, and you're like, man, I'm bored and I don't know what to do. And AI is fun. So it doesn't matter from 2 to 82 and beyond. AI is not going anywhere. It's a super amazing time to be alive. And I created a newsletter called Just the Tip. Okay, it's a Savage Marketer newsletter, Just the Tip. So whether you want to go all in on AI or you just want the tip, this is really focused on how to use AI at work, how to use AI for business, whether you're an entrepreneur, you got a 9-to-5, whatever, you want to become indispensable. This is going to blow your minds, guys. This is my actual cell phone number. So for those of you watching this, you can scan this QR code. It will actually send a text message to me. Just send me your name, AI at work, and just the tip, and I will have my team add you in. They might ask you what your email address is, but for those of you listening in, just send me a text message with your name and email address to 971-599-7704. That is my actual cell phone number, 971-599-7704. If you call me or text me right now, it'll literally come here. But don't call me because I'm usually recording stuff. Text first. It's polite, right?
Hey, what's a good example of maybe a tip that was in a recent newsletter?
Oh, man. Let's take a look. How about that? Let's take a look.
I like it.
All right. Let me see what I got here. I know one just went out today. Ooh, today, the title of our newsletter today was AI Transcription Magic. Okay, let me unshare my screen here. Okay. Here's my newsletter. There it is. Okay, see it says right there, AI Transcription Magic right there. Yep. All right, here it goes. It says, hey, Jeff, we all know that sinking feeling when you're staring at a pile of handwritten notes. Oh, yeah, we have. Here's how to use ChatGPT's transcription superpowers. Take a clear photo or screenshot of the text you want to transcribe. Make sure the image is well lit and the text is easily readable. Open up ChatGPT and click on that little upload image button. Select the image you just took and let it work its magic. When the image is uploaded, type in the simple prompt. Here's a prompt for you. Please read the text in the image I just uploaded and transcribe it into digital text for me. Sit back and watch in awe as ChatGPT converts your handwritten notes or slides into perfectly formatted digital text. Copy the transcribed text from ChatGPT, paste it into your favorite document, and guess what? There's even a meme. Everybody loves the memes. Here's the Savage Marketer tip of the day. Look at that.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you can read that, but it's a comic strip that says, what do you do? And someone says, I work at Google. You? And then the guy says, I Google at work. Which I guess nowadays could be I use ChatGPT, right? Yeah. I work at OpenAI. Oh, I use OpenAI at work.
So I actually, while we were on that, I texted you. So I'm looking forward to getting it. There's all the guys on Twitter and all those things that have the newsletters and it's a lot of crap. However, you've probably been doing this, even though, again, there's no 10-year experts here. You've probably been doing this twice or 10 times as long as any of those people on Twitter that are doing the newsletters. So I subscribe just to see what they're doing. This is one I'll actually read.
If that doesn't work for you guys, I put here a QR code up on the screen. This is my Connect link. So actually, if you just go there, there's my Facebook, Instagram, email address, all that kind of stuff right there. Just go to jeffjhunter.com and then you click the About Me page and it'll send all my info over. So if you have questions or maybe the link doesn't work or you can't figure out how to text me, just hit me up. And it's just an honor to be here, Chris. I appreciate you, man.
Dude, thank you. No, you dropped some bombs. That's awesome stuff, man. I'm glad that was one of the first products we got. So, ladies and gentlemen, true endorsement. I'm actually a customer of Jeff, so that's not why he came on the show.
Well, I'm honored to be here, and I also want to give a shout out to Molly Mahoney, who told me I should be on the show, and she's one of my. Molly had a great episode. She's such an incredible friend and fellow AI enthusiast.
Super clever when it comes to leveraging AI, for sure. All right, everybody. So thanks, Jeff, so much. Please, guys, get on Jeff's newsletter. We'll be providing all of the contact information that he shared in the show notes if you were unable to watch the video. However, if you missed the video, some good stuff. Go check out the YouTube channel. It's at the Chief AI Officer YouTube channel. And Jeff, thank you so much, bro. Safe travels in the digital landscape that we're both navigating at full speed.
Thanks, Chris. And by the way, I just want to point out that I think the Chief AI Officer is going to be a really big deal for companies. So I love what you're doing and the impact that you're making, man.
Thanks, bro. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to Using AI at Work. Don't forget to subscribe for more conversations about how to use AI at work. And a special thank you to our sponsor, Chief AI Officer, for empowering businesses with AI education and training. Visit their website for a free AI readiness assessment and AI strategy guide to help you get started using AI at work. That's www.chiefaiofficer.com. Special thanks to our producer, Evan DeSaulnier, for making this episode possible. Follow us on Twitter at the handle Using AI at Work and visit www.usingaiatwork.com for free resources to help you harness AI in your role.